Okay, hi and assalamualaikum and welcome to our kurus Q&A Santai live bersama dengan saya Kevin Zahri again every Tuesday on Facebook and YouTube, and kita akan meluangkan lebih kurang 60 minit untuk pelbagai Q&A santai berkenaan mungkin dengan kawalan berat badan, pemakanan, senaman, kehidupan, isu semasa ataupun any questions that you really have. And today agak istimewa sikit because today is the hari pertama for our November cabaran 30 hari, as you can see. So kebarangkalian besar, ramai di kalangan peserta pada malam ini merupakan peserta, participant in our 30-day challenge yang baru bermula pada hari ini. And if you would like to join our challenge, all you have to do really is melayari bukansoalkurus.com and sign up dengan serta-merta. It just started, but we have a 1-month, 3-month, or 12-month package. And ramai peserta yang menyertainya musim ke musim or bulan ke bulan. And kali ini dia agak baru or berbeza sikit, di mana our 30-day challenge takkan bermula pada hari yang pelik. Usually before this, we always start on a Wednesday, but to make it easier and sambung menyambung, our cabaran kini bermula always on the first hari bulan, hari yang pertama sampailah hujung bulan tersebut, and then sambung menyambung, because as we always say, kurus takes time. So dengan itu, I would like to welcome, mengucapkan selamat datang to all our new or old participants yang menyertai our November challenge yang bermula dengan rasminya pada hari ini. And don't worry, I know hari yang pertama, it's always semangat yang bergelora nak kurus semalam, as we always say, but take your time, langkah demi langkah, hari demi hari. It's not perjuangan 30 hari semata-mata. Although it's cabaran 30 hari, it's really about mengekalkannya untuk jangka masa yang berpanjangan. That is kunci kejayaan. So again, take your time, take a deep breath, enjoy the journey with us, enjoy your perjuangan bersama teman-teman yang sehaluan and seharapan, and enjoy the community platform that we use. There's a lot of information there. So again, take your time, hari ke hari, minggu ke minggu, to menerokainya. Rasa mustahil untuk cover everything dalam masa sebulan sahaja. But that is why, again, kita ada package yang 3 bulan and 6 bulan dan sebagainya. So welcome kepada semua. Let me just look at the comment section di sini. And if you have if you're wondering how this live works, it's your first time joining this live, first and foremost, welcome to our Q&A Santai pada malam ini. And if you haven't done so yet, as always, share the session dengan kawan-kawan seperjuangan. Semoga mereka pun dapat belajar sesuatu yang baru. And if you have any questions about kawalan berat badan, pemakanan, senaman, mitos, or anything or everything, sila menggunakan ruangan soalan, ruangan komen untuk mengemukakan pertanyaan anda. And typically what I will do, I will go top to bottom. So the earlier you post your question, the higher the chances is that we will answer it. And kalau tak terjawab pun, again, we're doing this live minggu ke minggu, every Tuesday jam 8 malam on Facebook and YouTube. And apologizing for last week. My son was not very well, kurang sihat, so I had to cancel last week's session. Something will go right, something will go wrong. That is kehidupan. Thank you so much. Seluar leggings, saya hadir first time tengok live ini. Welcome. And semoga anda dapat belajar sesuatu yang baru pada hari ini. All right. And let me go over the first question here in no particular order. Again, I'm going top to bottom. Questionnya daripada Suhaimi Yub Osman. You have a good certificate. Why you choose to be an influencer? I think the question that Suhaimi is asking is, I have a good educational background. Sijil dalam kejuruteraan mechanical. But I never wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to do business. But I figured I don't need a business degree to do business. So I wanted to have a technical degree to fall back on. Sekiranya my business tak berjaya. And ketika itu, a lot of the beasiswa yang ditawarkan was dalam kejuruteraan. And I was good at math and physics. So I took on a certification in mechanical engineering, which for me was not very difficult. But I tak pernah berhajat to menjadi seorang engineer. It was more of a backup plan sekiranya my first plan tu tak berjaya. My first plan is the same plan as I was when I was 17, which is to wake up every morning and do whatever I want to do. I want to be free, tak nak terikat dengan sesiapa, and tak nak terikat dekat mana-mana. So I have a very simple goal in life, and I am not obsessed dengan kejayaan. I think kejayaan is overrated. Everybody is always pushing you to berjaya, success all day. Sok mo kau. And I think it's very stressful, and success does not mean you have to be uber successful. I think it's all about cari wasatiyah and kesederhanaan diri sendiri. So in my point of view, and I live my life according to a bell curve, middle a bit to the right, to be successful, but I would like there to be a lot of room for growth. Supaya I always feel there's a lot of space for me to grow into. If you berjaya kau and you dah sampai ke muncak kejayaan, then there's not much left, or the puncak then becomes so high and so unattainable that ia menekankan kehidupan. So long story short, there's nothing wrong with living a mediocre life that makes you happy. It doesn't have to be about kejayaan and mengejar kerjaya as perhaps kadang-kadang social media menekankan. It is suka hati masing-masing. Janji gembira and tak buat benda yang mencari masalah. Waalaikumsalam semua. Okay, daripada ice cream dengan Snoop Dogg kau sebagai profile picture. Waalaikumsalam. Saya nak tanya, adakah bagus kita buat water fasting? I am not a fan of diet yang pelik-pelik. Now, water fasting, where you hanya minum air or hanya liquid diet, is going to membantu mengurangkan berat badan dalam jangka masa yang pendek. Yes, but berapa lama engkau boleh kekalkan diet tersebut? Kunci kejayaan dalam kurangkan atau kawalan berat badan is not soal buat diet yang pelik-pelik sekali-sekala. Yes, they will do what they do, but yang paling penting is anda dapat mengekalkan berat badan dengan pemakanan yang biasa, gaya hidup yang agak biasa untuk jangka masa yang berpanjangan. That is kunci kejayaan. It is sustainability and consistency. It's not this remeh-temeh things that you do once in a while, bukan dia tak berfaedah, but it is not kunci kejayaan secara umumnya. Beres? Beres. Alright, let me see what else we have here. Ya, menarik cabaran 30 hari kurus. Now, we call it cabaran 30 hari. And you will not be kurus in 30 hari. Don't get us wrong. Hence, our program pun is bukan soal kurus pada masa yang sama. But 30 hari is just nice for anda sebagai seseorang yang sibuk dengan kehidupan to melaburkan minat, melaburkan masa supaya then semoga 30 hari itu membina tabiat yang positif so that then demi masa yang menjadi gaya hidup yang berterusan. Beres. Ya, Proton. Hai, ya, apa khabar? Ya, I'm doing great. Thank you so much. La la la. Okay, let me see. Hi Kevin, my question, macam mana nak control berat badan supaya berat badan tidak naik? Now, it's a very important question, and for me, as much as you nak mengurangkan berat badan, or nak mengurangkan pemakanan, the niat tu is number one. The istiqamah is number two. But yang paling tiga is the ilmu tu penting. Kalau the istiqamah ada, the niat nak kurus malam tu ada, but the know-how tu tak ke mana, then it is difficult to mengekalkan the perjuangan. So the istiqamah and the niat and the know-how must work hand in hand untuk menggerakkan kapal diri anda untuk jangka masa sepanjang hayat supaya anda yang mengawal hala tuju. If you just ikut program yang diberikan, istiqamah dengan niat ikut coach, boleh. But once the program tu is over, then you agak kehilangan hala tuju again and does not solve your problem. So our program, again, fokus kepada pendidikan, empowerment untuk memperkasakan diri anda to have the know-how, have the ukhuwah, have the kawan-kawan, have the rentak untuk menggerakkan diri, because mustahil you bersama dengan our program selama-lamanya. Mustahil you bersama dengan kawan-kawan yang sama selama-lamanya. The only person that you will spend time with pagi, siang dan malam every day for the rest of your life is you. So you must be number one, your biggest supporter dalam this perjuangan, and don't become your worst critic. Ramai yang menjadi pengkritik diri yang besar, but you must become your biggest motivator in this journey of life. Kalau bukan diri sendiri, siapa lagi? And know-how, ilmu, knowledge, ya, is begitu penting untuk empower diri untuk menggerakkan hala tuju. Hai bunga, cantiknya nama. Alright, ya, daripada Captain Muhammad Hafiz. Assalamualaikum, waalaikumsalam. Apakah faktor utama yang boleh meningkatkan kadar metabolisme kita selain bersukan? Now, I mentioned this a lot. Metabolisme is jumlah pembakaran kalori seharian badan seseorang. Basically, everything and anything you do membakar kalori. And the more kalori you bakar, lagi tinggi metabolisme anda. So, Hafiz, it doesn't have to be just bersukan. Sukan umpama bawa kereta dengan agak laju, yes, pembakaran minyak tu banyak sikit. But even engine on, bergerak ke shopping mall, ke apa, ke dalam jam pun kereta tetap membakar minyak, metabolisme tetap berjalan, and the longer engine kereta tu on in the day, lagi tinggi metabolisme kenderaan anda. So again, kunci untuk meningkatkan metabolisme is just to do more. The more you do, the more you burn, and the more you burn, the higher your metabolisme will be. Yeah, tomorrow in our Zoom session with me, in our peserta in our program, we will actually mengira dan melakar metabolisme untuk menyusun plan kurangkan berat badan bersama. Hafiz, ya, macam mana anak Cik Kevin sekarang? Alhamdulillah, dah sihat, tapi semalam pula diorang dapat flu shot, yang seasonal punya flu shot. So demam suam-suam sikit semalam and today, but generally much better already. Thank you so much, yeah, for your concern, Hafiz. Really appreciate. See, you pun have a small daughter yang tengah main dengan pelampung tu. Alright, yeah, thank you so much. Alright, let's see. What is your main focus on all your platforms? Is it about health? It's a very good question, Shah. over the many years, about 10 lebih tahun, it's been purely kesihatan, kawalan berat badan, kecergasan, senaman, and all. But demi masa, it has evolved sikit into mental health, a bit of personal development, and kini, especially with TikTok and all. Recently, I posted a lot of kisah-kisah peripadi, which I was surprised, ramai orang suka mendengarnya. So I'm happy that there is growth to my influencer role juga. My pendekatan coming from Germany again is that Germans are always specializing in one thing. That's why they're usually very good at sesuatu. Kalau main bola, main bola. Main badminton, badminton. Kalau engineer. So if they do something, they really focus on satu kepakaran sahaja. And that kepakaran for me is kesihatan or kecergasan or kawalan berat badan. But in Malaysia, kadang-kadangnya, kalau kontraktor dia buat cat lah, tiling lah, pintu lah, elektrik lah, dia semua buat. So you become an expert of none. So I usually, walaupun boleh bercakap tentang pelbagai topik, I don't feel it's my genre or my quote-unquote real expertise. So yeah, mainly kesihatan and fitness, but slowly moving into perhaps personal development, perkongsian kisah kehidupan. I get called for not just now, but even before, untuk memberikan ceramah motivasi kepada sekolah, especially. And I always tell them, I don't want to give a ceramah motivasi because I don't think you can talk about motivasi and memotivasikan sesiapa. Whenever I went to camp motivasi dekat sekolah menengah because dipaksa, I don't think it really motivates you. It's just macam you terpaksa menangis because the penceramah suruh you menangis. Kalau tak menangis, tak sah kau. But I don't feel you can simply impose motivation on sesuatu. I feel you can inspire seseorang dengan kisah or knowledge or activity. But at the end of the day, you must take the inspiration untuk menggerakkan jentera diri sendiri to then build motivasi dalaman. Yeah, so generally I am in health and wellness, but doing small other things as well. Yeah. But I do enjoy the personal sharings on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok lately as well. Especially it's perkongsian kisah, and if my pain inspires and motivates you, then Alhamdulillah, really happy with that. So many more stories I can share. Yeah, if you want to know anything, do ask in the comment section, and perhaps I have a story to tell you that relates to your question. Yeah, life is interesting. Don't be afraid to take risks, to make mistakes, to fall on your butt. It's life. Life is not meant to be a boring rainbow and sky journey. Life is full of ups and downs, and without the ups and downs, it would not be life. And enjoy the chaos. And when you enjoy the chaos and you menantikan chaos, it's not so menakutkan. But if you expect kesempurnaan, which is a word I hate because nothing is sempurna. You cannot belajar sempurna. You cannot even semayang sempurna. You cannot even be murid or anak sempurna. Sempurna does not really exist because we are tidak sempurna. So in your mindset, even in our journey of cabaran 30 hari, people want a kurus journey yang sempurna. There is no such thing because pemakanan you takkan sempurna. Even your senaman is not sempurna. When we say sempurna, it means perfect. But nothing is perfect. Even practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes better. And again, bell curve scenario, perfect would be your 100% all the way to the right or 100% failure all the way to the left. Life is not black and white. Life is everything in between. So again, my advice is cari kesederhanaan ke arah yang you ingin tujui. But again, jangan jadikan kesempurnaan itu sebagai benchmark because it's not possible. Beres. All right. Let me see. Yeah, Nabil. I answered about the water fasting just now. I'm not sure why there's a lot of water fasting questions. Maybe it is trending right now, but let me tell you again, it's not going to menyelesaikan masalah. Same thing goes for diet-diet yang remeh-temeh. Boleh buat, but berapa lama you? And lama kelamaan, you will go back to pola pemakanannya agak biasa. And that is the one that needs to be consistent and agak terkawal. When I say agak terkawal, again, not sempurna, not kotor, not clean, but something yang agak comot, tengah-tengah, then baru it becomes realistic, practical, untuk dikekalkan buat jangka masa yang berpanjangan. Oh, daripada Ija, my Ija, I see you. Yeah, hi coach. Hope your family sihat. Would like to ask, lose weight when build muscle or lose weight sambil buat muscle? Which one yang bagus? Very good question. Generally, you cannot okay, let me know the question. Lose weight and then okay, now when you kurangkan berat badan, you cannot just lose lemak sahaja tanpa menghilangkan otot pada masa yang sama. So when you lose 10 kilo, it will be gabungan lemak, air and otot, but does not mean you just serah diri kepada proses pengurangan berat badan dengan kehilangan otot. My advice to you Ija and everyone is make sure you melibatkan senaman bebanan, resistance training in the weight loss journey to minimize the muscle loss during the weight loss, and dengan harapan again perhaps you dapat memantapkan atau menambah otot pada masa yang sama, but typically losing weight and gaining otot pada masa yang sama is sangat susah, and I would not make that the focus of istilah kejayaan. So I would focus on losing weight, jaga makan, jaga air, do a lot of really high quality, intense weight training as well, supaya lepas you dah membuang lemak around the rangka badan, you still have nice otot yang mampat untuk dapatkan bentuk badan yang diharapkan. Alright, daripada Marhanim Abdul Latif, nak tanya, apakah diet yang baik untuk perut buncit tapi malas nak bersenam? Nah, untuk kempiskan perut, it's not soal diet yang terbaik. Untuk kempiskan perut yang buncit, you have to just kurangkan berat badan, because perut yang buncit itu basically is pengisian minyak yang berlebihan tanpa pergerakan kenderaan itu yang banyak. Sudah tangki minyak tu makin besar, and your body will menyimpan lemak atau minyak yang berlebihan itu in some people's cases dekat bahagian perut. So you have to reverse this process, menggerakkan kenderaan tu lagi banyak, tak semestinya bersenam, but mengawal jumlah pengisian minyak kenderaan itu supaya your body dapat mempergunakan tangki minyak yang mengandungi minyak berlebihan untuk tenaga yang tak cukup daripada pengisian minyak kereta. I hope that makes sense. So it's not really soal wajib bersenam. Senaman tu bagus. Banyak manfaat because senaman tu actually menggerakkan kenderaan dengan cepat. But yang paling penting is mengawal jumlah pengisian minyak, tak kira diet yang macam mana sekalipun, and mengaktifkan kehidupan secara umumnya dengan pergerakan seharian. Beres? Beres. Alright. Let's see. Ya, kemah coach ya, live life freely. Freedom, to be free in life, it's such an unappreciated kejayaan. For me, just to be free gives me so much peace and so much. I wake up every morning and I am free, and it's such a peaceful feeling that you tak perlu mengejar perkara that remeh-temeh untuk dikejar, especially when it comes to traffic jam and office. I don't mind working hard, but ramai orang that meet me and get to know me, they are always surprised how unambitious I am. I am not ambitious at all. I work just enough to maintain really what I have. I could work a lot harder, but I don't want to. I really enjoy my work-life balance. I work for my kids, to have time with them. So I work as little possible so that I can spend as much time with them as possible. And I'm don't kerja in that sense kerjaya. You cannot have it all. You cannot kerjaya, kerja keluarga, kerja this, kerja that. You have to find a way to balance all of these things. And my balance right now makes me very happy. Am I rich? Not really. Am I poor? Not really. But I have a lot of room for growth, which makes me happy. Okay, let me say. Badaria, salam, waalaikumsalam. Saya berumur 57 tahun, sihat kesihatan, adakah exercise berlari 3 kali seminggu sejauh 3-5 km supaya. Ya. Now, faktor usia is not penghalang, Badaria. Yang paling penting is kemampuan. So if seseorang katakanlah 60 tahun, dah lama tak bersenam, baru nak mula senaman, I would tell the individual, kalau sihat, ya boleh buat brisk walking ke slow jog, tak perlu pentingkan jarak, but pentingkan masa, lebih kurang, I don't know, 3-40 minit untuk satu sesi senaman. But if Badaria katakanlah sudah biasa berlari, tak ada masalah kesihatan, lutut semua okey, and boleh berlari 3 hingga 5 kilometer pun sama juga, I will utamakan durasi waktu senaman, because if you bersenam terlalu lama, takut again fatigue and wear and tear tendon, ligament, sendi, demi masa akan mengakibatkan kecederaan. So for me, jangan utamakan the jarak perhaps, but utamakan the masa, but kelajuan of course dengan masa akan menentukan jarak as well. So sesuai je. But my other advice, Badaria, is jangan asyik buat senaman yang sama. If you always do the same senaman, it's always the same sendi, otot, ligament, tendon yang terlibat. So the wear and tear on those otot, sendi, tendon, lutut is always the same, and dia boleh meningkatkan kebarangkalian kecederaan. So my advice, especially when you get older, cuba mempelbagaikan senaman supaya you allow different body parts to berehat untuk memulihkan keadaan supaya tak berdepan dengan kecederaan. Beres? Beres. All right. Let me see what else we have here. Sai Putra, I was from the same school. Sri Ampang is you, same batch. Okay. What do you remember most about that school? I know you were only there for a year or so. I was there for 5 years. Just curious if you remember. Yeah, I remember Sekolah Sri Ampang very vividly, very clearly. It was sekolah pertama that I went to in Malaysia in 1991. Now, I came to Malaysia in June 1991. Yeah, bila tahun dekat Europe habis around June. And then kena tunggu sampai bulan January tahun depan baru nak masuk Form 1. I was from Standard 6 in Germany. So, I dicampak ke Sekolah Sri Ampang bulan Ogos, September macam tu. Agak pelik hujung tahun dalam kelas peralihan mula-mula because tak pandai berbahasa Malaysia pun. And I remember my first day very vividly. I was dipanggil my parents and I met dengan the pengetua sekolah, which I still remember her face dengan rambut yang agak 80s, but I can't remember her name. So beliau asked me a lot of questions in Malay, and I always replied in English because I was not sure how to reply dalam bahasa Melayu. So I was assigned to peralihan 1. And because I had no friends and a lot of the students in the peralihan, of course, were Chinese, she assigned a boy to be my friend. So she pulled out this boy whose name was Muhammad Fauzi, who's still a very good friend of mine sampai hari ini, to force him to be my friend. So Fauzi was my kawan paksaan pada hari yang pertama di sekolah Sri Ampang, but we are good friends sampai sekarang. He followed me to sekolah Sri Pera in Teluk Intan asrama, and he also followed me to MRSM Pekalan Ceper. So we were together for the 5 years, and he helped me a lot to berbahasa Malaysia, learn about the sekolah and all. And my first day at Sri Ampang, which is an all-boys school, so weird, laki sahaja, and sebelah tu ada girls school. So you just tengok je, but look cannot touch. So I find that a bit weird that you have a boys' school and a girls' school. In German tak wujud macam tu. And then the baju sekolah pun dengan tie and all was a bit weird for me. And I remember first day looking around the school, I felt macam, yeah, I mean, coming from Germany, the schools are quote unquote a bit nicer, the buildings are a bit modern. So coming to the Sri Ampang school was a bit of a culture shock for me personally. So if you ask Fauzi, he would give you this. I was doing like looking around and like, where am I? And on the first day dekat sekolah Sri Ampang tu, one of the students offered me a cigarette. Yeah, first day I remember this very vividly. Under the table, he wanted to give me a cigarette. I declined, and he wanted to sell me a gamba lucha as well on the first day, which I also declined. I'm not a pushover, but I declined. Yeah, and Fauzi again took really good care of me, and yeah, good experience one way or another. And demi masa made friends. And yeah, I was 2 years plus there. Peralihan for 3 months, Form 1 and Form 2. Yeah. Okay. Apakah plan persaraan, Tuan? If I close my eyes right now, and I would highly recommend you do this as well. This is good practice. And this is called reverse engineering. And when I was small, when I was 17 years old, or younger even, and I closed my eyes, and I bayangkan diri dah, dewasa macam mana, I always imagine I live in a small house with a small staircase with 2 children and a wife that has brown hair. I didn't know what it looked like, of course, because it was just a visual, and I was going to work. But what I always find interesting about this vision of mine was that it didn't matter where I go to work. It was not about I want to go to work. It was just I'm going to work, but it was more important of the family life that I want to have. So the kerja, there was no vision of what kind of kerja I want to do. I just had a handbag, and I was alone, and I was going to go to work and say goodbye to my kids and my wife. So that's how I came up with my vision of life now. So if I close my eyes right now and I bayangkan dah tua, datuk ke apa, same thing, I bayangkan duduk dekat rumah somewhere dekat yang ada kawasan lapang hijau depan, mungkin luar bandar. I bayangkan my cucu and my children all there. I don't bayangkan kekayaan. I don't bayangkan menara bangunan dengan nama ke apa. I just bayangkan a simple life where I am healthy, I am happy, I am smiling, and I spend time with my grandchildren. So that is my plan persaraan. Of course, dia melibatkan perancangan kewangan dan sebagainya, but dia tak melibatkan perancangan kewangan sampai nak berjuta-juta. I don't need berjuta-juta-juta-juta. I need some saving, of course, some kind of plan persaraan per se, but I am not obsessed perhaps dari segi itu untuk segala-galanya. So again, I reverse my life daripada tua warga emas ke situ ke sekarang, which means I have to take care of my health. I have to take care of my kesihatan, berat badan, kecergasan, supaya when I am that old, I boleh meluangkan masa yang berkualiti with my grandchildren. Kalau I sia-siakan kesihatan sekarang dengan pelbagai sakit nanti and all, that visi or that ambition or vision sukar untuk direalisasikan. Beres? Beres. Yeah. So that is my plan persaraan. Yeah, shout out to all mediocre gang. Most people in life are mediocre. And it's not a bad thing. Mediocre means you're in the middle. Yeah, middle class, bell curve again. Most people are mediocre, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just that social media, the algorithm always pushes you to this success of kurus semalam, kaya semalam, putih semalam. And it's so unrealistic, and it's only always going to be a 0.001% yang really gets to that end of the spectrum. Everybody else is in the quote-unquote mediocre part of the bell curve, which is all of us, really. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's cuma, again, the algorithm, social media that pushes all of these viral videos that get millions of views about these Lamborghinis, Ferraris, cuti in the Maldives here and there. It is not attainable for the majority. Hence, mental health is such a big thing these days because it creates false expectation of where your life should be. But I am so happy to be mediocre because being mediocre gives you a lot of room to maneuver. You can move left, you can move right. There's a lot of room for you to jadi mungkin lebih kaya sikit or lebih sihat sikit. There's a lot of areas for you to move into. If you are uber successful, like Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and all, the room for growth is so small, but they have to work so hard. Hence, it's only one, two, or three of them. They are like that. Everybody else is generally quote unquote mediocre. Nothing wrong with being mediocre at all. Beres, beres. But mediocre will never be viral because it's boring and it's okay. And things that will get viral, always these crazy things. Just jangan dipergunakan and understand it's not really about that all the time. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Ta 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 ta. Daripada Shira, do you ever face a down phase in your life? What did you say to yourself to make yourself get up and fight life? Very interesting question. And I shared a little bit about this before. My biggest regret was when I mengabaikan and let down my mother because of penceraian, and I did not see her for 10 years. Tak berhubung, tak bercakap, tak berjumpa, tak bersemuka because I was in Malaysia and she was in Germany. Sampailah beliau hampir meninggal, hampir daripada penyakit multiple sclerosis. So when I met her again after 10 years, she didn't know who I was. She was already in a coma, semi unconscious, and it broke me. It broke me into a million pieces. I remember walking into the room. You bayangkan ya, have not seen your mother for 10 years, have not communicated. There's no FaceTime in the 90s in that sense. And you bayangkan, you have not seen your mother for 10 years. And now you are 22 years old. Last time you saw her, you were 12. And in your mind, you play, or you try to play back the moment you're going to see her again and how joyous and loving that moment will be. But over the years, that so-called dream gets crushed because you sort of, tak menjaya kan ya, and you know that dia makin sakit and makin tenat, and you again ignore the problem and you try to suppress it. So again, bayangkan now 10 years go by, you are now about to enter the room where you're going to see your mom again, and she's in her deathbed right now. The moment I walked in, and this is the only time in my life, my legs literally disappeared and I fell to the ground, and I cried like I've never cried in my life ever. I was just so crushed, and so because all the hardship and all the pain that you sort of keep inside is suddenly open. Like you open Pandora's box. So long story short, that was the most painful moment in my life. But that painful moment led to a prolonged depression, because now you have to sort of deal dengan 10 tahun of regret and try to move forward in life. So I was depressed. I was in the US. I was final year in engineering. No family, no real support system. I was alone. And friends, kawan-kawan, during those times, they don't know what to do. They don't know whether to help you or to leave you alone because you're just sad and miserable. So I was really bad. I was really down at myself. And I told myself two things. And this was about a month or two after I was really down and crying and trying to process the regret, because there's nothing I can do to turn back time, and there's nothing in the future that will make my mom recover from penyakit beliau. And eventually she passed away, of course. So I told myself two things. And I remember this moment again. I was in the toilet in my small apartment in the US, and I looked myself in the mirror, crying. I told myself, Kevin, you have two options. And I can't remember what language I used. You have two options. Option number one, you can let this pull you down into a dark, dark place and destroy your life, but nothing will change. It will still be what it is. Or you can fight. You can fight. You can pull yourself out of this grave that you're in right now, and live an honorable life to do good to arwah my mother dengan amalan, because as a Muslim we believe that your amalan dalam duniawi membantu dalam dunia kubur of the parents. So I held on to that very strong. So I decided then and there I'm going to dedicate my life to helping others, which I am doing, so that semoga amalan tersebut dapat meringankan azab kubur my mom, who's not a Muslim. But I leave that to wallahu alam untuk menentukannya. I just do what I can. My nawaitu is there, and I fought. Now, does not mean after talking to the mirror, everything is blue skies and rainbow. That was the decision I made, but I had to decide. I had to find a way to channel my sadness, anger, regret, because there's a lot of different emotions that you have to process. So I decided I have to find a way to channel these negativities to something positive. And I need something that's going to take time to allow me to focus on sesuatu. So I decided to sign up for a triathlon. Right then and there, I decided I'm going to train for a triathlon. So I'm going to dedicate time to swimming, biking, and running. And I had a good friend who was a active triathlete in the US. So I signed up for a short distances like Olympic distance or even sprint distance triathlon in Boston. But at least that allowed me to channel berjam-jam every day ke arah yang positif. Sampailah it got me out of the really dark and deep spiral ke arah yang lebih baik. But even then, it took many years. It took many years to process and digest the regret. And yeah, Alhamdulillah, I think I'm in a much better place, obviously, now. But still, talking about it will bring back emotions that are okay, because we all go through things in life. And I have gone, Alhamdulillah, I went through a lot of pain at a very young age. Yep, from 12 years old, moving to Malaysia, then to this in my early 20s. So the blessing in disguise is that all of these sufferings and pain were in my earlier phases of life, which helped me to become the person that I am now, because it gave me a sense of kepentingan kehidupan. It made me prioritize family and life and health, and doing something meaningful to aid my mother's afterlife juga. And without those lessons, I perhaps would not be the person that I am today. So yeah, if you are currently dealing dengan masalah kehidupan, I'm not here to solve your problems. Again, talking about it itself does not solve the issue that you are dealing with, but it helps you to memahami bahawa there are others out there like me who have gone through, who are going through things just like you are. You are not alone. And at the end of the day, you are the one who has to keep fighting hari ke hari. And again, it goes back to the earlier part of you have to be your biggest motivator, and not the biggest negative voice. Dalam keadaan yang susah, it's easy to listen to the negative voice, but you have to always mengangkat bakul sendiri to get yourself out of this situation. And it's not jangka masa yang pendek. It will take time. But yeah, as long as we have time, we have time. Yeah, so that I hope answers your question, Shira, on how I faced the so-called darkest part of my life and how did I fight to move forward. Beres. Beres. All right, let's see. Yeah, you are welcome. Produk sampah sekarang banyak tapi orang tetap beli pelik. It's supply and demand. Ya, masalah obesity is masalah yang sangat besar. So dia akan mewujudkan keperluan yang sangat tinggi, and then pada masa yang sama ia mewujudkan pembekal that will try to memenuhi that keperluan. It's economics 101. So again, you cannot blame the penghasil, you have to blame the pengguna because membenarkan diri untuk diperguna. This is why again in our program we focus on education supaya you boleh mempergunakan produk yang ada but tidak dipergunakan. Because the products bukannya menipu, but they don't work quite like how you think they work. And unfortunately, they overpromise so much dengan orang punya teknik pemasaran tanpa kawalan pihak berkuasa, in my opinion. Dan kadang-kadang mangsanya menjadi pihak pengguna yang dipergunakan, and most of the time it's mereka yang perhaps tidak berkemampuan and kurang berpendidikan. Beres? Beres. All right. So time check. Yeah. Oh wow. Already 8:43. But really, really nice questions today. Always a bit different. Yeah. Daripada just topic kesihatan semata-mata, which I like it as well. Yeah. No worries at all. Coach, bulan 12 nanti ada, yes, our program cabaran 30 hari ni will run bulan ke bulan, ikut calendar month, month ke month. The Jum Kurus, which is our physical face-to-face program, will bermula again as early as January next year, but we will see how it goes because there are just so many programs in the market right now, which makes it difficult to menjayakan. Macam dulu before COVID lagi senang. Nowadays everything is a bit too saturated, too much supply, kurang demand, so it works the other way. So we have to look into the supply and demand situation. But definitely our cabaran 30 hari will berjalan bulan ke bulan, but the Jum Kurus face-to-face, we have not decided yet. Okay, brown sugar bagus tak? Brown sugar bagus, but when it comes to white and brown sugar, it is virtually the same thing. It's not like white bread, brown better, white rice, brown better, white sugar, brown sugar, it's virtually the same thing. There's no fiber in brown sugar. The rasa brown sugar perhaps is a bit more menyelerakan, but that is pilihan masing-masing. But tetap 1 gram brown sugar 4 calories, 1 gram white sugar is 4 calories. Yang paling penting is kesederhanaan pengambilan, tak kira white sugar or brown sugar. Beres? Beres. Okay, let me scroll down and see what else we have here. Yeah, Athira daripada YouTube. Assalamualaikum. What is your opinion about pro-IF or keto yang menganggap apa yang doktor dietitian suggest is nonsense, and they believe, yeah. Again, it is suka hati masing-masing to follow mazhab diet masing-masing. If you talk to gang keto, dia memang taksub keto. You talk to a gang Atkins, dia memang Atkins. IF pun sama juga. Yang paleo pun paleo, yang vegan pun vegan. It is suka hati masing-masing. My advice is tepuk dada, learn about all of them as much as you can, and then benalah diet you yang tersendiri. If your name is Athira, build diet Athira and do what works for you. I janji you, even if you makan diet Malaysia sekalipun, boleh je kurangkan berat badan. Nasi ke keropok leko ke buah ke ayam, ikan. It's all about kesederhanaan pengambilan, and all of these diets generally will try to membantu untuk mengawal jumlah pengambilan. But if you don't enjoy the diet, no matter how much they love it, and it does not work for you because you just don't enjoy it, then tak payahlah. Do I do keto? No. Do I do IF? No. Ramadan puasa? Yes. Do I do paleo? No. Vegan? No. I do diet Kevin Zahri. I eat pagi, siang dan malam 5-6 kali sehari. Small amount. Makanan merepek. Hari-hari air manis. Hari-hari benda yang baik. Hari-hari bersenam. Bukan hari-hari. Maybe 4, 5, 6 kali seminggu. Maybe 3 kali kosong pun ada. But it's about kesederhanaan. Not about kesempurnaan again. Which again sangat mudah untuk dilontarkan istilahnya, but perlukan pemahaman, which is what we teach in our program. Beres? Beres. All right, yeah. So again, yeah, don't have to marah the IF keto people. Just have to basically do what you feel is best for diri sendiri. In our program, we've had so many success stories over the years, 10 tahun ke apa. Ada yang keto, ada yang tak, ada yang IF, ada yang tak, ada yang makan nasi, ada yang tak, ada yang makan buah, ada yang tak, ada yang makan suku-suku separuh, ada yang makan piramid, ada yang kira kalori, ada yang tak. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, whatever way you have untuk mengawal jumlah pengambilan kalori, that's it. Because it has to mengawal jumlah pengambilan somehow. Okay, tak marah ya. Okay, coach nak tanya, boleh ke kalau pagi minum air kosong je? Boleh, but I would not recommend it because bila you bangun pagi tu, especially me, I like to break fast dengan makan sesuatu to energize myself. Of course, tak makan berlebihan, but nothing wrong dengan makan cereal ke, roti ke, buah ke, telur ke. Kalau you minum air kosong je, kopi kosong je, boleh, but berapa lama? Again, don't try to do things that you're not going to be able to do consistently. If you do it once a week as a so-called shock to the system, boleh, but at the end of the day, you must still be able to mengawal keadaan dengan makan sarapan seperti orang lain. Beres? Beres. Now, if I do the beres thing, there's a harapan that I would use it for a video. This helps me to cut off the point. But yeah, most of them don't make it because they don't have time. All right, Noor Iskandar. Coach, yang soft drink yang claim no sugar, no calorie too, will it still add towards sugar intake and affect our diet? Now, a diet soda or a minuman soda yang no sugar, 0 calorie, memang has no sugar and no calories. They don't lie to you. So it will not menambah pengambilan kalori, but they replace the gula dengan gula-gula tiruan or stevia. If it's gula-gula tiruan, like aspartame and artificial sweetener, I don't really recommend it because dia akan membebankan buah pinggang you. Because once this artificial sugar enters your body has no clue what to do with this artificial sweetener. It's not organic. So your kidney has to kerja keras untuk membuangnya and filter it out from your system, and it will membebankan your buah pinggang. So again, does not mean you cannot minum, just means that you have to be prihatin terhadap baik buruknya, because again, diet is not soal kesempurnaan. It is about a balance of good choices and bad choices. But again, diet sodas with 0 sugar, 0 calorie, tidak berkalori, tidak menipu anda, and dia tidak menyumbang kepada jumlah pengambilan kalori seharian. Beres? Beres. All right, let me see. Yeah, maybe we have 3 or 4 more questions. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Yeah, apologizing if I don't answer your question. And yeah, let's see what else we have here. Yeah, a lot of questions today. Boop. Let me see. Yes, the way he talks is funny for someone who's from Germany. Yeah. I always thought I speak good Malay. I never heard myself berbahasa Malaysia. Sampailah somewhere around selepas sekolah menengah. So form 4, form 5, I thought my Malay is setulin orang Malaysia. But bila I dengar for the first time, macam pelik juga bunyi. Because it's not authentic bahasa Malaysia. But I belajar dengan belasah je. And kawan-kawan tu akan membetulkan. And if they ketawalah. Kita ketawa bersama. Yeah, it's okay. You have to laugh at yourself juga dalam proses pembelajaran. And even today, nowadays, if I do any videos pun, I just goreng je. And if it's salah, you will membetulkannya dalam the comment section juga. And it helps you to get closer to me pada masa yang sama. And makes me appear as more vulnerable and not so sempurna to you, which I am not. I am not sempurna in any way, form or shape, and neither are you or anyone. So it's nothing wrong dengan melakukan kesilapan, kesalahan. And yeah, main bahasa Malaysia is lebih skema sikit, because that's how I belajar. And when I first learned, and dekat sekolah Sri Ampang dulu tu, and you ask my friends like Fauzi and all, he will say that I used to talk like this. Kamu hendak pergi ke mana? Saya hendak pergi ke kantin. Kamu makan apa? Kamu dah makan habis ke belum? So very schema because that's how I learned. But so what? You just goreng and you jalan and they will help you. And the best way to belajar is to talk to people. You cannot learn anything just from a book. You may get A or A1 for your English on paper, but if you tak bertutur dengan orang dalam bahasa Inggeris, it's hard untuk really memperkasakan diri untuk menggunakan bahasa tersebut because again, it's just more of a theoretical skill daripada a practical skill, which it is sepatutnya. Beres. I just don't know where this beres came from. Okay, let me see here. Waalaikumsalam. Saya minta untuk kurangkan berat badan. Bila timbang berat badan naik 1 kilo, tapi baju terasa longgar. Adakah otot makin berat? Now, I'm not sure you're talking about selepas main badminton or secara umumnya. But yes, if you bersukan before or after, because of water retention, berat tu boleh turun naik dengan quite cepat. But if you're referring to jangka masa yang berpanjangan, if you mengurangkan berat badan or you are on a weight loss journey, but baju makin longgar, but berat naik sikit, that is a good thing. Jangan stress. That means kebarangkalian, ya, you ada pengurangan lemak badan, but ada penambahan otot maybe. So jangan hanya fokus kepada angka berat badan semata-mata, but fokus kepada journey-nya secara umumnya, including the non-scale successes. Okay, I'm going to scroll down a lot more right now. Again, I apologize kalau tak dapat menjawab ke semua soalannya. And again, this live is every Tuesday pukul 8 malam. And if you're joining our Cabaran 30 Hari pun, we have a live tomorrow, a live on Thursday. On Thursdays, kita punya pajama talk. Our pajama talk is an English speaking session because ramai peserta want to learn to speak in English, where we talk ala-ala macam Toastmaster to talk about different topics. Ada speaker, ada moderator and all, a lot of fun. Just again to memperkasakan diri, to learn something new di luar just angka berat badan semata-mata. All right, let me see again. Time check. Yeah, maybe do 2 more questions. Yeah, daripada Mas Malik, what are your aspirations for your children? My aspirations for my children, this is going to sound very superficial. It's for them to be happy, but happiness is a very fickle thing, because happiness can be very fragile. Even kita sebagai dewasa, our happiness is fragile. It can change daripada hari ke sehari, bergantung kepada news and updates terkini. So generally speaking, I want them to be useful human beings. I want them to be useful Muslims, jadi orang yang berguna, orang yang berdikari, orang yang bertanggungjawab, orang yang saling menghormati orang lain. The thing I always tell them daripada usia kecil sampailah sekarang is this: don't do things to others that you do not want them to do to you. I repeat, don't do things to others that you do not want them to do to you. Tak kira dia kaya ke miskin ke apa ke tua ke muda ke, you should treat people like how you want them to treat you. So even if it is someone who is not that well to do, yang kurang berkemampuan, yang buat kerja yang kurang berkemampuan ke wallahualam, you want to treat them just the same like you want them to treat you sekiranya you are in that situation. So it's about mutual respect, which I always tekankan, and to ambil ownership about life diri sendiri supaya tak bergantung kepada orang lain. Yeah. But let me tell you, my biggest kejayaan kehidupan is to be a parent. It's the most amazing, most meaningful journey of my life, but also the hardest. It's the hardest job that anyone can have, because you are managing, your children daripada usia yang kecil sampailah besar, and at some point you have to let go, and at some point they don't listen to you or anymore, and it's not easy. And to make them successful, in my definition, pun it's not easy juga to manage the good dad, the bad dad, good cop, bad cop, to be ayah yang penyayang, but ayah yang consistent. So yeah, as a parent, it's a very, very challenging journey. And if you don't make time to become a parent, that's why for me, I always mengutamakan masa untuk menjadi seorang ayah. Kalau tak cukup masa, lagi susah. And if you serahkan tanggungjawab anak kepada orang lain, cikgu sekolah ke, orang gaji ke apa, they will not, mengambil berat seperti mana you as a parent sepatutnya. Whenever I meet orang yang berjaya, let's say lah, berjaya in the sense of the world, yeah, like a general manager or CEO, and I ask them, what is your regret in life? And they are already macam 50-an and all. They all said they regret not spending more time with their kids when they were small. Because kids will only want to spend time with you when they are chill. And their biggest regret is didn't have more time with them when they are small. Now the kids all dah besar, 16, 17, and then the kids now don't want to get to know you anymore, don't want to spend time with you anymore. So for me, as long as my kids want to spend time with me, I will spend time with them selama-lamanya, because there will be a moment when they will slowly, mencari their own life, their own space. And I want to maximize the time so that I am always there to support the journey. Yeah. But, okay. All right. Let me see. Maybe last one here. Last one. Yeah. Last one here. Daripada Faiz. Coach, adakah cara untuk tambah berat badan dengan cara yang sihat? Now, very good question. Always kurus kan? Now, untuk menambah berat badan, you need two things. You need a reason and you need a bahan binaan. Reason is pemangkin, senaman, pemberat dan sebagainya, that memberikan badan a reason to menambah size. But if you hanya ada reason, tak cukup bahan binaan, tak cukup makan, tak boleh. If you hanya makan sahaja, weight gainer ke, makan banyak ke apa, ada bahan binaan, but no pemangkin or no reason to membesar, pun tak boleh membesar. So untuk menambah berat badan, you need bahan binaan, calorie surplus, and you need a pemangkin rangsangan senaman untuk then berikan sebab kepada badan untuk membesar, because then the sebab will use the bahan binaan untuk menambah berat badan. Beres? Beres. All right. So I think with that, we can sign off for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, welcome to all of our November cabaran 30 hari peserta. If you would like to join our challenge, do layari kurus.com. Really fun and educational program that I am sure akan memberikan manfaat kepada anda untuk jangka masa yang berpanjangan. And if you're already in the program, welcome. And I will see you guys tomorrow pukul 8 malam untuk sesi pembinaan plan pemakanan and plan kurangkan berat badan and sesi untuk suai kenal sikit. With that, thank you so much semua. And if you haven't done so yet, please share this live dengan kawan-kawan seperjuangan. Semoga mereka pun dapat belajar sesuatu yang baru. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Assalamualaikum and bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.